Hey guys, welcome back to this week's poll here on Comic Relief Cast. I'm your host Jake.
And this is Josh. Hey Jake, I got a quick question for you.
What is it now?
Can you recite pi?
Yeah, it's 3.1.
What are we reading?
Alright, and with that guys, make sure you check out the weekly web up we put up this time. It was our first episode. We did it back over the weekend. We're going to start trying to do that every week if we can. We film it and we put it up. You guys can see our beautiful faces. We actually had someone come in and do the makeup for Josh here because Big Guy was a little camera shy.
And it's definitely noticeable.
Yeah.
Yep.
And anyway, with that, we will get on to the Marvel section for this week. We're going over Life of Captain Marvel number 4, X-Men Black Mystique number 1, Marvel Zombie number 1, Thor number 6, Infinity Warp's Weapon Hex number 1, What If Marvel Comics Went Metal with Ghost Rider number 1, Shuri number 1, and Venom Annual number 1. A lot of number ones.
A lot of number ones. A lot of one-shots.
A lot of one-shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually, Marvel's been doing that a lot lately. They've been doing a lot of like Elseworld kind of storytelling and just little one-shots here and there.
They're having fun.
Yeah, they are. So let's start off with The Life of Captain Marvel, number 4 by Margaret Stoll and Carlos Pacheco. What'd you think?
Well, yeah, it was exactly where I thought this story was kind of going. Like, it was like when we first reviewed the first issue, we were kind of half and half, and in the one half, we were kind of like, okay, well, we were kind of worried that it was going to take over the story, and we were really hoping it would stay with the more family-oriented.
Right.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to this whole thing, and I'm iffy on this right now.
Well, here's my thing. So I read issues 3 and 4 back to back. I missed issue 3, had a chance to catch up. So the whole reveal in the last issue that her mom is part Kree pissed me off. I'm like, come on, are you really rewriting her history? And I can't help but feel it's just in time for the movies. This they're gonna be, like, it almost feels mandated by the studio for them to do something like this.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's being driven because I feel like when you try to think of, if you try to explain her origin in like a movie, it doesn't I can see where there'd be problems with translation.
But the thing is, you can condense it to just she has this happenstance interaction with this man who's an alien, gets his powers, and that's it. Like, it doesn't have to be this divine kind of plan, or it doesn't have to be passed down. Like, this feels so old and tired. Like, this motif feels very tired to me. You know, the original Carol Danvers origin with her just running into Captain Marvel, getting his powers through that, and then, you know, Rogue putting her in a coma, all that kind of thing. Like, obviously in the movie you don't have to do Rogue, and that would come on later anyway, but that feels much more organic to me. It feels just like, oh, anybody can be a super, but this one, now it's ordained, and now she's part of a bloodline. She's part of this, like, she's the daughter of this really high-ranking captain, the youngest to ever blah, 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 and it just takes away from Carol. And then when we reveal her real Kree name in this, I'm just, come on, give me a break. Yeah, it's
definitely disheartening when a retcon happens, and that's what this technically is a retcon, and I'm not digging it, and it sucks because Margaret Stoll or whatever, she did this is what it's like almost the exact same thing that happened with her last runs, like with Captain Marvel. Was like, starts off, I'm like, okay, this might be pretty solid, I'll give it a try, and I'll start reading it, and then down the line it's like, man, you're losing me.
The character interactions in this book are really good.
I love
really
the family
solid
interactions and everything, and that's where I'm like, I'm on the fence on this book.
The story elements she's throwing in here are ridiculous, I think. It's so unnecessary. If you could have just, you know, focused on Carol and her life at home and her upbringing, and then you could have somehow interwoven, I should say, you know, a new story to tell, and not go back and dig up the past and rewrite fucking history. That's the shit that I'm just like, I'm off. I'm out. I'm off. You know, I'm not on board with this anymore.
Yeah. I want to give the next issue a read still.
Well, I think it's the last issue. I think it's out of 5. So
I mean, but I'm not happy about this.
No, me either. So do you want to go ahead and give your rating, unveil the rating system for this episode?
All right. I'm giving this 2 Speed Weasels.
I'm going just under 1.8 Speed Weasels for me. All right, moving on to X-Men Black Mystique, number 1 by McGuire and Fiala. I don't know. It's Sheenan. What these fucking names? Shannon McGuire and Marco Fiala. Fuck me. Anyway, sorry, but actually, this is not a bad book. I was not really expecting much from the Mystique one. I really wasn't. I was going, you know what? I know she's kind of a staple in the X-Men lore. She's kind of a villain in the movies. They've been trying to make her somewhat of a hero and stuff, but I actually dug this. This felt kind of like a heist movie, with the narration from Mystique on how she gets in, gets out, how she executes her plan. I actually liked that quite a bit.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. It's kind of cool, the aspect. I just kind of, the only problem with me is this kind of felt a little bit like a throwaway issue. It's an issue that is going to be easily forgotten.
Oh, absolutely.
Down the road. But it was a fun issue. It was nice seeing the breakdown, like the internal monologue of her breaking down how she does how she goes through a heist. And then also the one thing that really brought into my, I never thought about was with today's technology, social media and stuff, Mystique is a bigger threat than what she would have been when she was originally created.
Well, not only that, but they kind of showcase here why her ability to shapeshift is so vital to what she can do. She's not just a shapeshifter; she's like a master spy. She's a tactician. She knows a lot. She knows how to do quite a bit. And she's she even says, "I've got every security camera in every airport in America memorized. I know where all this stuff is." And she's actually pretty badass in this book. I got to give it to her. And I really like the way they break down the nuance of the way she has to get into character, and how she likens it to how actors have to do it, and how actors actually have it wrong, and this is how you really do it. I thought it was an interesting take. Whether it's actually right or wrong, I don't care. It made for an interesting read. And then, of course, we're still getting the Apocalypse story at the end. How'd you feel about the Apocalypse story?
Apocalypse story, it was... I liked the first two parts better than this one.
Really?
It was still very interesting, and I'm actually really enjoying it. This is the main reason why I'm still picking up X-Men Black, is to follow the Apocalypse story, because I like it. It's an Apocalypse story that we've never heard before. It's original. Normally when you see Apocalypse, it's always something about him,
culling the weak.
Yeah, all this stuff. And this one, it's this one we're gonna make him
weak. Yeah, this is a very jarring take on Apocalypse for anybody who knows of the character. So this is actually my favorite Apocalypse installment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would say the last one was my favorite.
No, this one really got me because I just thought,
because of how hairy he is in this.
Yeah, I feel
can
a
relate
kinship with him.
Yeah.
No, I was like, this is just a side of Apocalypse we've never seen. We've never seen anything like this happen, and I never realized how human he really was underneath all of the armor, all that other shit. So I found it to be quite cool, and it's like him losing his mind. You can feel his mind slipping, his intelligence is slipping away, and he's just trying to go about life, and he's got this, I don't know, it's the secret weapon he's just not ready to install yet or to use yet, but he's protecting it with his life. I don't know, I really dig this book.
I'm liking the Apocalypse stuff.
Same here.
The Apocalypse.
So overall, judging the Mystique and the Apocalypse stuff, I'm going to give this one 2.85.
Okay, with me, I'm actually giving it...
Weasels.
Speed, yeah. I'm giving it 2.5 Speed Weasels.
Okay.
I probably would have went a little bit higher if it was just mostly the Apocalypse stuff, but yeah, the Mystique part, it was good. It was kind of vanilla, and I'll probably forget about it in a couple of weeks.
All right, moving on to Marvel Zombie #1, the writer Maxwell Prince and the artist Stefano Raphael, and we have not really been fans of a lot of this Marvel zombie stuff they've been putting out.
Let's rephrase that. It's not even just Marvel zombie stuff.
Zombies.
It's just zombies in general. Yeah. If a lot of people come in here, especially with the Walking Dead. Okay, but Walking Dead Day happening with the polybags and stuff, people would come in here and constantly ask us if we were fans of The Walking Dead. And we're really not.
No.
The zombie thing left us back when Hot Topic was closing down shops.
I was just never into zombies in general. I mean, I liked the first Marvel Zombie 5-issue thing that I think actually Kirkman did.
Yeah.
I did like that. But this book I was hesitant on, and I'm happy to say that I'm pleasantly surprised by this book. I like it. There's a touch of that, what was that, Warm Bodies.
I was actually going to mention that. That's the only thing that this book actually has I have a problem with this book.
The
beginning is almost exactly like Warm Bodies.
It is.
Which, by the way, I know that we normally review comic books, but I will say Warm Bodies, the novel by now I can't remember.
Care. Can we move on?
It's great, man.
Okay,
you need to read it.
I mean, it's very much a Romeo and Juliet story. It's exactly what it is.
That one's different.
Okay, well, the movie. Anyway, so this book starts off that way, and it had me a little worried, but then it goes on to some very different territory, and it's basically, a few heroes are left in the wake of a zombie apocalypse in New York City in the Marvel Universe, and I thought it was really cool to see the different characters and the way they take it on. It kind of brings a question of morality to some of these characters, the way Natasha, the Black Widow, takes it on versus the way Daredevil sees it. Daredevil almost taking a preacher type role, not the book preacher, but like a priest or somebody of faith. And I thought it was a really cool dynamic to add. This zombie that we're following too, that was a little Deus Ex Machina, but I didn't care. I saw their plan coming a mile away, but what I didn't see coming was the way this book ended. I really thought for a Marvel book, that's a really dark and grim way to end.
Yeah, the ending definitely took a different turn than what I was expecting, to the point that I was almost like, I don't know what much I like this ending, because it was not what I was expecting. It was kind of definitely the other direction that I was thinking. And the more I think about it, the more after I read it and I was thinking of going back and thinking about the book, I was sitting here realizing that that actually I actually dig the ending more.
Yeah, I like the ending, and the thing is, I got a lot of callbacks from the original Old Man Logan by Mark Millar and Steve McNiven. There were elements of that book I felt resonating in the pages here, and I really, really appreciate it. So I'm surprised to say that I'm going to be giving this one probably a 3.5. Speed Weasels.
It's weird. I was actually right there with you. 3.5. I was surprised with how, especially with the fact that when we saw this on the order form, just like the typhoid fever, we were like, we're not going to order that many of these because this is going to be horrible. And you kept thinking it was going to be one of those manga.
They did that before. They did like a manga version of Marvel Zombies, and nobody picked it up.
Yeah, but I dig it. It was good.
All right, Josh, we're moving on to
Shuri number one, written by Needy Okorafor. Chloroform and Leonardo Romero. And surprisingly, I was on this book. I felt like I was going to end up being on the fence, and I still am kind of on the fence on this. It follows a lot of what Shuri is doing now in the Black Panther run. T'Challa is in space, intergalactic Wakanda, and he doesn't know exactly what's going on. There's a lot of unanswered questions. You don't actually even know why he's in space yet, and this kind of answers the question: why T'Challa is in space? And the artwork in this is kind of it's weird, and they try to focus really hard on making it look like the movie. But to be honest, the writer definitely did her research on Shuri, and like knowing she was dead and all that stuff like that. It actually was a fun read. I think this is going to be good for someone who is currently reading the Black Panther run, and also someone who might want to jump on this because they liked Shuri in the movie. Okay. Cool. But with that being said, I actually am going to give this a 2.85.
Okay.
Speed Weasels.
All right, you can go ahead and steal that from me.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go on to Thor number 6 by Jason Aaron. And actually, interestingly enough, it says guest artist Christian Ward, the guy who did the art in the last book. So I'm guessing Mike Del Mundo at some point might be coming back. I'm not sure. But, man, Jason Aaron continuing to just kill this book, man. He is just, what's so good is in Avengers, I'm loving his Avengers run. It's so much fun as a fan to read. But Thor as a fan, holy shit, is this a blast to read. So this book, the last issue ended with like God Doctor Doom, but it's not just God Doctor Doom. He's got the Spirit of Vengeance, he's got the Iron Fist, he's the Sorcerer Supreme, he's Doctor Doom. He's like all these things in one. It feels like overkill, but that's kind of the fun of it, right? It's just like this is so outlandish and so ridiculous. So in this book, he goes up against Allfather Thor and Phoenix Old Man Logan. So Old Man Logan and Thor are teaming up to face off against Doom, and it takes place millennia in the future where Thor has brought back life to Earth, where he created the people in his own image. It's very Christian, but he's a pagan god. So anyway, it's all about the fight between Thor and Doom and Old Man Logan as the Phoenix, and holy shit, is it just cool. It is just awesome. It's creative, it's fun, it's action-packed. I don't know what more I could ask for from an issue like this, because if you know what you're getting into, you know it's just going to be some beat-em-up fun, some really good conversation between a few characters, and some really interesting twists on these characters. Holy shit, is it a lot of fun to read. And Jason Aaron has been weaving in this story of this worm that is on Ego, who's now the Necro world. He's like a dead, almost zombie planet, right? And this worm has just been bothering the piss. It's like a little worm who's been bothering the piss out of Ego. And Ego's like, fine, fuck it, like whatever you want, just get off of me for like 99 years is what it said. And you find out what that worm really is and what he's after, and it's going to make for a really fun future issue. So for this one, I'm going 4.75 Space Weasels. I absolutely love this issue. If anyone's reading Thor, this is one of the best of the series so far.
All right. Well, the other book that we read was Infinity Warp's Weapon Hex #1
by Ben Acker and Ben Blacker. Penciler is Gerardo Sandoval.
Do you think that Ben Blacker is blacker than Ben Acker?
I don't know.
Just a little bit, like a BL. Just a little bit.
He's just a little more blah.
What was your feelings on this?
My feelings on this were it was absolutely ridiculous. At some points it's a lot of fun. Other times it does seem like a clever twist and reimagining of the origins of Laura Kinney. Not a whole lot of Scarlet Witch is thrown in here, which I found a little interesting. Like some of the supporting cast who are also amalgams, I thought that was kind of cool, and like Mount Wangador, stuff like that. So when you're going back to the true origins of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, that stuff's in there, but it was very heavily focused on Laura Kinney and kind of reimagining her origin. And for what it was, it's a fun little read. I don't think it's integral to reading Infinity Wars right now. This is just a straight up origin issue for this character. I didn't think that it was the most clever twist on everything, but it was just enough of a twist to go, okay, this is keeping me interested, but I didn't love it.
I definitely was an interesting read. I enjoyed it though. The problem was there's moments in it that's just really ridiculous. It's
it's just absurd.
Yeah, and when I'm saying a ridiculous, I don't mean it like it's like this is ridiculous. I'm gonna rip this comic book up on our podcast.
It's as ridiculous as Doctor Doom is the Iron Fist, Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, really? You're gonna actually do this?
Yeah. I don't think it executed as well as Jason Aaron did, but
the one thing I will say that I thought was kind of cool was, and it makes it really hard and confusing for some people, is they use the amalgams of secondary characters that they use in this. They use some obscure characters. We're talking like some obscured characters that haven't been mentioned in comic books in a long time.
Yeah.
And so it makes it like, so you spend a lot of time sitting here looking at these two characters going, what are these two? Like I can pinpoint the one, but I cannot pinpoint the other one. So I mean, it makes for fun, but at the same time, I mean, like it could be stressful. Some people who's not.
This issue is probably going to be a test of your true Marvel fandom to pinpoint a lot of these amalgams out, like Agatha Harkness as Cloak. I am imagining a lot of people out there don't know who Agatha Harkness is.
Elsa Bloodstone and Blade.
People
are just going to think that's just Misty Knight.
Right, and then, what's also interesting, too, is that they actually incorporate a little bit of Wolverine's origin in this. There are certain drops of that in here as well, so... for that, though, I found it to be a fun little interesting read. Would I recommend it? Not wholeheartedly. Would I recommend it if you had not a lot to pick up this week? Sure. If you're interested in the Infinity War stuff that's going on and you want to get all of it, this is definitely a fun little read.
Or if you're a fan of X-23. If you're a fan of X-23, I imagine that this would probably be a fun book for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So for that, I'm going to give this one 2.6 Speed Weasels.
I'm actually right there with you. Actually, I was going to say 2.75. So, okay. But that's what I was going to go with.
And your code phrase for this week is fandom is a cancer.
Fandom is a cancer. Use that and get an extra, what was it?
20% off any book that is not on your pull list.
Damn, that's nice. All right, well, because popular demand says that I have to review Venom.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this or not, but you are mandated to... Every Venom issue that comes out, you must review.
Man, I don't even get paid for it. But apparently I have to, because I didn't review Venom number 7 from last week. And just so you guys know, I give it high scores, 4 out of 5. It was a great read. I wish I did read it and review it last podcast, but we had a lot to read. So I didn't have a chance.
Here he is with the annual.
Yep, here I am with Venom number 1 annual. The writers, they have Donny Cates, David Michelinie, Ron Lim, James Stroke.
David Michelinie on that?
It's like all kinds of different writers. So you got like Donny Cates writing one story, Dave Michelinie's writing another one, Jeff Loveness is writing another one, and James Stoke is doing writing and art for one. And you also have like Ty Walker, Ron Lim, and Kev Walker on pencils on some of these stories. And what this whole thing is it's just a bunch of D-list villains sitting at the bar with no name, and they're just sitting there talking about Venom, because Scorpion, who used to be Venom, is talking about how Venom is not that scary, how he's not a scary dude, and how he's not that badass and all this stuff like that. And all these people keep telling him stories about how Venom is a badass. And it was very fun. It was a fun read. If you're reading the current Venom run, this is not a needed read, so you don't have to feel obligated to pick it up. But I would say definitely pick it up, because it is, if you're looking for a fun read, it's definitely a fun read. Donny Cates is doing the main little story of like them at the bar, and I think he does the first story that's told by Black Cat. But it's a good one, and I definitely there's a Sienkiewicz variant of this book, and it is beautiful.
Actually, I think that's the picture we use for the podcast.
So it's probably on the screen. I would suggest, if you got a chance, pick that one up, because I have a funny feeling that book is going to be a hard one to get a hold of, and it probably will get up in price like about $10-15 by the end of the week.
All right, and with that,
wait a minute, I gotta give my rating.
I'm so sorry, I always try and cut you off.
It's a 3. I give it 3.65.
All right.
Speed weasels.
All right, and with our last issue we're going to be getting into is what if Marvel Comics went metal with Ghost Rider. And the writer, the writer is Sebastian Gerner, and its art is by Casper Wingard. He must be somebody who worships Thor. I'm guessing he's from Norway. Anyway, so this book is actually really cool. Josh and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago about how much I hate this idea for this what if. I'm like, you have a really cool chance to really do something cool with Ghost Rider, give him some kind of seminal run, give it something for fans to just really latch on to, make an action figure out of, make a new spin-off series out of. And I said, unless they do something really clever with this, I'm going to hate this book. They did something very clever with this book. There's a lot of cool fan service, a lot of meta jokes in this, but this thing,
metal.
Yeah, meta. Ooh.
Metal.
It's so metal.
Yeah.
But no, this was a really cool book. So it's basically like the Marvel Universe actually exists in this world, and then they make comic books based on the actual heroes that exist in the world. And so Ghost Rider is actually working at Marvel Comic Books, and this
as an intern.
Yeah.
Which actually fits, because in Robbie, who's Ghost Rider right now,
he's a teenager, right?
He's a teenager,
yeah.
But he also is based out of like LA.
East LA.
Yeah, East LA. And with him joining the Avengers recently, he would be kind of more based in New York, and probably trying to look for an intern position.
And he's kind of like an intern Avenger.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this like Norwegian metal band comes in. They want to get their comic book. I mean, it's very much Kiss inspired. It's very much Kiss inspired. And if you guys read the book, you'll understand why even more. But there's a lot of good callbacks if you're a Marvel fan and you know your Marvel history. There's some really cool stuff in this book. But this book, again, it's a little absurd. It goes a little ridiculous at times, but in a way that makes you laugh. You're just gonna. It's not a read you need to take too seriously, but you're gonna have a great time flipping through it. And then the biggest detriment to this book is that the ending, it ends right when you want to see how it's supposed to end, and it's like fade to black. It's like the way the Sopranos series ended.
Yeah,
like,
it's there. The ending is like there is no ending.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I'm gonna cause hell or give him hell, and it's like that's it. It goes, come on, man, I want to see the battle. I want to see how this all turns out. But all in all, I thought it was a really fun little clever read, and this is what I was more or less hoping for when I saw this cover. And I heard about the premise of the book. I went, they better do something clever with this, or I'm gonna hate this. And it was. I think making something like this very meta, very self-aware was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It was funny. There's a lot of funny moments. There's fun. It's cool because there's a lot of little Easter eggs, little inside jokes that's kind of in there. And I mean, I like the fact that one of the drummer, he kind of looks like like one of the guys in Spinal Tap a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I kept playing him.
I was thinking of what's that from Dexter's Lab, like Major Glory and Van Allen or something like that. I thought he looked like him.
Yeah. But no, it was a fun book, fun read. It's funny. It's exactly what I was expecting this book to be. And the only thing is same with you, is the ending is kind of Like it's like, okay, now you got me on. Like now you got me there.
I
want to read.
Yeah,
like,
it's an abrupt ending. I really thought, oh my god, is this a what if that they're actually planning a sequel to, and it doesn't say to be continued or anything at the end. I go, oh, that's kind of shitty.
You never know. What if they continue? What if this the sales on this book goes like through the roof? And there you go. You know, we gotta do this.
I wouldn't mind a part 2 to this.
I wouldn't either.
What would you rate it?
I'm going to rate this 3.75 Speed Weasels.
I'm going just above you. 3.8. 3.8
Really?
Speed Weasels. I liked it more than I thought I was going to like it. So
just by 0.05, but you know, it's okay.
Just by a ghost hair.
Yeah, ghost hair.
But anyways, guys, that is all we've got for you this week. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already checked out the DC portion, make sure you check that out. If you haven't checked out the weekly web up, make sure you check that out. And we'll hopefully be doing another one this weekend as well. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to the channel, guys. Comment below. What are you looking forward to picking up this week? What have you already picked up? And what was your favorite reads? What did you not like so much? Let us know in the comments below, and we will see you guys.
Or what
next
did
time.
I forget to review this week?
Wow, you're so bitter.
I know.
Take care, guys.